Hello all and welcome to The Big Story, where we discuss the hottest topics of the day right in the heart of the newsroom. I'm Haryanto, coming to you live from the Straits Times. Now we are streaming on Facebook and on YouTube, so be sure to comment, like and share our video. While you are at it, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell button to be alerted of our videos. I'll have my newsroom colleagues to join me to talk about the stories that got you talking today. Now on to our first segment. Now under mounting pressure to respond following weeks of protests, Chief Executive Carrie Lam today stressed that the highly controversial extradition bill is dead. But protesters immediately dismissed her comments, threatening more mass rallies. Mrs. Lam appealed to the public to give her administration the opportunity and time to take Hong Kong out of the current impasse and try to improve the current situation. Her use of the word dead to describe the bill did not impress Civil Human Rights Front's Bonnie Leong. Now to tell us more, I have regional correspondent Elizabeth Law. Welcome, Liz.
Hi.
This is your first time?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so Liz, tell us, what does the extradition bill is dead? What does that mean? What does it entail?
Well, the thing is that, so she is saying by all intents and purposes, for all intents and purposes, actually it is dead because she says she's not going to reintroduce it in LegCo, which is the Parliament of Hong Kong. She's also saying that there will be no work that will be done. Yeah. All work on it has stopped. So it's just going to be allowed to die a natural death. The term that she used today is 壽終正寢. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, which actually is used to refer to a old person dying quite peacefully at home, which is basically what's happening to the bill. But of course, people are worried, like what Bonnie said, as we saw from today's report, is that there is a chance that because as long as she does not completely withdraw the bill, it means that there is a chance that they can always reintroduce it, because whenever a bill has been suspended, and in this case it's been suspended indefinitely, all according to LegCo rules, they only need to wait for 12 days before this can be reintroduced and brought back on the table. So that is the thing they are worried about, and what they've asked for is 撤回, which is the complete withdrawal. But obviously she has not used that word again, and I think we've seen from reports that a lot of opposition characters are accusing her of wordplay, and a lot of protesters, in fact, are accusing her of just using wordplay to skirt around the issue.
And Liz, let's take us back to a few weeks, and in fact up till quite recently, you were in the thick of things in Hong Kong, right? When the protests happened. How was the situation like? Describe to us, what you saw, the sentiment on the ground. Talk about safety, how was it? Yeah, we've seen pictures and videos of it.
Yeah, of course, and of course a very special shout out to the Hong Kong correspondent Claire Huang as well, who has really been the one who has been working non-stop throughout all of this. But basically, by the time I got in, it was in time for the protest on June 16, which obviously started out as a very peaceful protest. This is just barely days after the very dramatic scenes where police had fired pepper spray, rubber bullets, tear gas to disperse the protesters who had tried to surround the Legislative Council to prevent the bill from being discussed. Anyway, so on June 16, it was just massive amounts of people. You cannot even imagine it. And imagine the CTE, an 8-lane road, completely filled with people. Just all dressed in black. It's just a sea of people, and that was just that. But at the same time, when you have so many people, it was still very peaceful. It was a very relaxed atmosphere. You had entire families, people with their toddlers, someone pushing a pram. You've got old people with like walking stick, just trying to just join in the process to do their part for Hong Kong. So that was that Sunday. It seemed really nice. People stayed out late, yes. They still occupied large swaths of the road for long hours, but still it was very peaceful. But then as time went on, they felt that the government wasn't listening to them, and that's when things started to get a bit more hairy. And when they surrounded police headquarters, we were there watching it, and that because these were much younger people who were in a way a lot more energetic. It is the school holidays now, so they really don't have to go to school, and they do have time to arrange all of this. And I think the sense that you got was that these were very young people who cared deeply about their future, but they felt that there was no such thing left for them in Hong Kong anymore, or they were worried that there will be no future left, because in Hong Kong you have these great amounts of freedom that really you don't see in any other part of China.
Yeah.
So they were fighting for that, and you could feel the tensions were rising. We were stood on a bridge overlooking the police headquarters. We have all seen images of that, and because it was so hot, you could just sense the tension. The air was very thick, and people were throwing eggs and all that, and we were slightly worried, like, what if the police came storming out of their headquarters? It would really be quite a dangerous
quite interesting. And Liz, we talked about this earlier on. I went, so I told you that I went to Hong Kong end of last year, and I enjoyed myself there. The place was really good. But now, after seeing all this, and I am assured that that you mentioned, even though there was a protest and there was a lot of people, it was peaceful. But really the question is then, is it still safe for tourists to go over?
Well, certainly, of course. I mean, there should never be a doubt that Hong Kong will ever not be safe for tourists or for anyone, because protests are largely peaceful. Yes, we've seen these very dramatic scenes, but you have to bear in mind that that all these happen within the administrative heart. In places like Admiralty and Tamar, which is a bit further out from where the hotels are as well, or around the police headquarters, and these are areas that largely tourists don't quite venture to, except last Sunday when they were in Tsim Sha Tsui and Mong Kok. But the whole point of them being there was really to try and engage the mainland tourists who like to congregate around those areas.
So my Hong Kong Disneyland and my Ocean Park are still safe, yeah?
I mean, if you were to compare, I mean, of course it will be safe. It would really do no one any good if Hong Kong were to come down really hard on tourists. And as well, and I told you this, I mean, the distance between where these protests are and your Disneyland is literally from Braddell to Tuas. A long way away.
So Liz, okay, jokes aside, really, so what now? What's in store for Carrie Lam's administration?
Yeah, I mean, it's not an easy question to answer, because there are things that need to happen. I think the key word here is rebuild. The key phrase here is to rebuild trust. Trust has been lost between the people and the administration. Trust has been lost between the people and the police. So for them to have to rebuild trust, I'm not a politician. I can't come up with policies on what you have to do, but that is something that has to be restored. And if your people can't even trust your law enforcement officers, and if you look at some of the memes that are coming out now, it really is a very dangerous situation. So she has a lot of work. I mean, her work is really cut out for her. And we'll see. She's asked for more time. I'm not sure if the people are willing to give her more time, but at the same time, they can't quite get rid of her. So
we just have to see how it goes.
Well, as we all say, we'll have to wait and see.
Well, thank you so much, Liz, for coming onto the show to tell us more about the situation in Hong Kong. And clearly, again, Mrs. Lam just came out today to say that the extradition bill is dead. So the days to come, we don't know what's going to happen, but just keep yourself updated with the news on our website at www.straitstimes.com. Once again, thank you so much, Liz, for coming onto the show.